All right, Danny. We gotta carry a lot of weight here for the second half of the Big 12. I gotta ask, are you ready to count it up?
Ready. Let's do it.
As much as I think it's the under is a safe play, like I can't even.
Count them up. Count them up. How many kids are gonna win this fall?
I can't fathom 8 wins.
How many kids are gonna win this fall?
I just can't. I don't see it. It's not on there. It's not the schedule I'm looking at. Unless there's another schedule somewhere.
And we begin with the Kansas Jayhawks, a head coach in Lance Leipold, who is, we are a big fan of Lance Leipold and all the work he's done at multiple stops. They were a little bit of a chaos team last year, losing a lot of one-score games early, kind of played themselves out of really being in contention for a bowl game, you thought, until they started ruining everyone's Big 12 title dreams, knocking off contenders all the way down the stretch. Now they enter this season with an over-under win total at FanDuel Sportsbook of 7.5. Heavy juice to the under, so over plus 132, under minus 162. What are we doing here with the Kansas team that has a tough? Listen, the Kansas-Missouri rivalry rocks. I'm just going to say that on rivalries that sometimes get overlooked. I'm excited to see that one. That game will be on the road for the Jayhawks, but then Fresno State and Wagner as well. What do you make of Kansas and their chances to hit 7.5?
So this one's tough for me because I love Lance Leipold. I think he's one of the best coaches in college football. When I went through the schedule, I was putting down the W's and putting down the L's, and usually go with what you feel most confident about. And I got to 6 wins that I felt pretty good about. But like the Missouri one in Como, I think it's a tough place to play. And ultimately it came down to, if I felt good about 6, I needed 2 wins that I could talk myself into to get over that 7.5. And maybe I could, because I'm such a big believer in Lance Leipold. Remember last year, they had to travel a lot, and they didn't get to play in their own backyard. They had to play at Arrowhead because their stadium was being redone. Now that's done. This all to me comes down to Jalen Daniels. And I know a lot of it comes down to his health. Like, how healthy is it? But he didn't play great last year either. Like, I just wonder if the outlier was the year when did he win Big 12 Player of the Year? Or was he preseason Big 12 Player of the Year that year?
He was preseason Big 12 Player of the Year going into the season, I think.
And he played great the season before. So it was like, it made a ton of sense. But I just wonder if that season where they had their sort of Cinderella story year was more of an outlier. Like, he struggled with the interception bug, struggled throwing the ball last year. So combine that with also the injury issues that crop up. And I do think they're better at backup with Cole Ballard. Like, they're back kind of where they're not just totally exposed at the backup position. It's hard for me to make that jump. So I understand why it's under, juice to the under. I'm going to go under. I'm going to follow the money there and say under as well.
It's so funny because as I was doing my Kansas review, I thought Jalen Daniels had missed more time than he did.
Right.
He played 12 games. He had 14 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's not good. And it's because we thought it was a lingering issue. We'd go into weeks being like, we don't know what Daniels' back is going to be. We talk about the difficulty of predicting, what you're going to get from a quarterback who might be dealing with an injury like that. He was suiting them up. He logged, double-digit pass attempts in all 12 games. So the disappointing thing is that he did play. It's not as though I can imagine that he's going to be like, okay, well, now he's going to be healthy and now he's going to be back at it. That just needs to be improvement across the board. Now, however, I love the way that team rallied. I love the way that team responded and didn't quit on the season, not once, trying to push it all the way to the end. I have them 8-4. Okay.
Woohoo!
So I'm gonna take that little plus money. That one might be showing up at the end of August when we do win total locks. I'll give them wins: Fresno State, Wagner, West Virginia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, home sweet home. So I'm gonna give them all those home games that they've got. I've got them all as wins. I do think at Missouri, you just got to chalk that one up as an L. And then we get into the toss-ups, where among the toss-ups, I'll say at UCF. I'll say at Arizona. I'm considering them a toss-up, but ultimately probably leaning yes. And that's where they would need to get one more from the at Texas Tech, Kansas State at home, Utah at home. I think the Jayhawks can do it. So I've got them over 7.5. Give me that little plus money, plus 132.
I love the way you're thinking. And by the way, I'm not running to the window to bet the under on this one, even though it is juiced. I hope you're right. And I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were one of those teams in a tightly contested kind of wild year with the Big 12 where they do win a lot of their one-possession games. Somebody chimed in, I don't get the Lance Leipold love. I would push back significantly on that. The dude's won multiple national championships, and consider what he took over. This program was a mess when he took it over. Remember, he took it over after spring football practice when they were arguably the worst program in college football when he took it over. And the fact that he's able to kind of at least churn out, at least to be in the bowl conversation last year. And, without Jalen Daniels, the year before, like 9-4 season, one of their best seasons they've had in 15, 20 years. I'm firmly a believer. I mean, he's doing more with less. They do not have the resources that even the Big 12, a lot of teams have.
We look at Buffalo right now as one of the better programs in the MAC. It can also be absolute in the pits as well. And he got Buffalo up and running. The Wisconsin Whitewater success that you mentioned. And, full transparency here. Some of what we do comes from our conversations with the coach, comes from our conversation with other coaches and how they deal with people. And I don't have a lot of people who know Lance Leipold or have worked with him or around him who have a lot of bad to say. And look, coaches will talk so much trash off the record about each other, and you just don't get that a lot when you ask about Lance Leipold.
By the way, that comment was from Wet Blanket, so I guess maybe he was just living up to the name. Yes.